rolling.
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? This is the Yellow Light District, where almost everything is okay.
I am Gavin.
I'm Andy.
I'm Anthony.
And we're Yellow Light District.
Yep.
So a little about us. We've been friends since high school. Went to high school in Pittsburgh, PA, Our Lady of Sacred Heart High School. And we're just a bunch of goobers, basically. And we're here to make a podcast about almost anything, just us talking, really.
Yeah, we figured, we come up with some pretty good topics, so, people probably wouldn't want to listen. This podcast is basically talk about what we want to talk about. A lot of podcasts are made today, what people think what they would want to listen to, but in all reality, who gives a shit? I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, we don't really have a rhyme or reason. We're just kind of going with it.
Yeah.
I guess we talk about our group has 11 people, and we plan on having just a mix constantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of just
it's
whoever's
swapping
available.
people out and putting other people in, interchangeable. So don't get too attached to anyone, really.
Yeah, just whoever's around. We'll just have them on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I've never seen a podcast where we have so many different people that will do it. The famous ones you have, they're just by themselves, and they have their own shtick. But if anything, just a group of 11 guys just bullshitting about like anything really. Like it can range from what we think about movies, what we think about try to bust some myths about our generation, how we get shit on a lot, but how we see it, how we were raised. Just stuff going on in today's society, Hollywood, movies, sports. In particular, like maybe UFC, maybe football, what's going on with Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
Stillers.
Yeah, got that thick Pittsburghese accent.
So yeah, if anyone ever steals our idea, let us know and we'll go and personally talk with them.
Yeah. So I guess we should start off with an intro just about ourselves. So, like I said, I'm Anthony. I'm from Aliquippa in Pennsylvania. I just like to talk, honestly. I go to college at Youngstown State University, major in criminal justice. I like to talk, that's I have a job there on campus at the admissions office. I just give tours, so I walk and talk. Pretty much the only thing, I could see myself doing at college for a job, so I figured I always wanted to make a podcast because I always thought I had good ideas, or, I always thought how it's great that people want to listen to stuff, people just like to listen, when you're in a long car ride, and you have music playing, music gets pretty repetitive after so long, but then I started listening to podcasts, some of the famous ones, and I'm just like, wow, I literally just listened to someone for 3 hours, and it didn't even feel like nothing, because they have good topics, it's fun to listen to them, they have good ideas. It's always nice to see how someone else's mind works, so that's probably why I started.
It's pretty good for us also because, we always just sit around talking to each other all the time. We might as well film it and record it and see what happens, see if you guys find it entertaining. Hopefully you guys do, but yeah.
Yeah, it's something we do a lot. Is we just have conversations that we feel like are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
just
not even
deep
like
talks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's not even like really important topics. We can start talking about one thing and 2 hours later we're talking about the complete opposite of it,
yeah,
but we're
exactly.
still all intrigued about what we're talking about. And I think the best thing about our friend group is that we don't try to argue with each other so much, but we just try to understand each other's point of views, because we all come from different backgrounds, but we all have that live life to the fullest sort of aspect. So we always even in high school we always wanted to make sure we had fun whatever we did. So for example, we would just randomly just say, hey, let's go do this, out of nowhere. It might be to some people the most boring thing, but there's 6 or 7 of us that want to do it. So going to the woods one day and just taking a walk and just bullshitting, doing all kinds of fun shit. But I don't know, to some people that might be boring, but for us, that's what made our group so great, because we always did stuff.
I feel like we're just so easily amused.
Yeah.
We're just so simple and low maintenance.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
back to what you were saying about how we have like so many different backgrounds. That's a good thing because we have like different perspectives on everything too.
Yeah.
We have 10 or 11 different perspectives like always going on.
Like, you know, like, for us growing up, we weren't like the popular kids, but everybody wanted to be part of our group. So, as you know, you could probably say it like that, you know what I mean? Like, everyone wanted to be a part of our group because they saw how great of friends we were.
Right.
And that's because we're complete assholes to each other. But we know at the end of the day, like, you know, we would do anything for each other pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think that a lot of people didn't have that sort of thing.
And that's actually something we could bring up now too. Is like we were very in high school, which we're all sophomores in college. But in high school we were very. What's the word?
Toxic.
Like no, not that too.
That too.
We fit in with like everyone. Like
Yeah.
we had Jason like was in the musical group. Like Connor, Jason, me. We played football. You guys played soccer.
Some of us played basketball.
Yeah, we had some basketball kids.
And a
We had-
volleyball player.
And a volleyball player.
And
Yeah,
we were just
guys.
involved in different groups and stuff, and we were very like spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like a lot of connections and stuff with other groups.
And then we all had our own unique thing that we all liked, but like some of us had no desire to like, you know, pay attention to it. Like, so for example, like some of us were big in gaming, other people were big in just hanging out and smoking cigars, or the other guys were, you know, big into watching certain kind of sports. We would go over their house and have like a little, you know, get together while watching the Penguins game, you know, or someone like, you know, like for me, I watched UFC a lot throughout high school, and no one really watched UFC where we're from, so like it's just,
still done.
you know, yeah, honestly, but
No,
like.
I think that's the one thing with our friend group also is we always give each other a lot of shit for everything. We still do give each other a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I
we're
think-
pretty mean to everyone. Like in our
Yeah.
group. But that's just like our brotherly love type
Yeah, I was gonna
stuff.
say, and
Like,
that's
it's just-
probably helped us out a decent bit. Because really, there's nothing we can say now. It's gonna like really like offend someone to the point they're gonna get pissed off. You know?
Yeah, well, that still happens.
Yeah, but it's harder than most people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you called other people like a fucking like dickhead, sometimes they'd get pissed off. I'm just used to it at this point.
Well,
It's like hey, you're hello, basically.
That's the thing I noticed about our group. I know I've said this before, but like in high school, especially even now, we're so nice to people that aren't in our group.
Mhm.
We're complete dickheads to each other.
Yeah, but I think that also,
like Nathan and stuff, and
yeah,
like people would like we were so nice to him and stuff because well, we were nice to people that
Yeah,
weren't in
yeah.
our group.
yeah,
It's just a weird thing to think. You would think you'd be nicer to like your close friends and just like
Mhm.
assholes to everyone else.
no, it was like the opposite.
But we like yeah, I don't know. It was
I mean, some
weird.
people do get pissed off at us because we wouldn't let them in the meme team, really. But that was just because it's an exclusive club. You know, you gotta
It's like a
fit.
fraternity.
You gotta fit the meme team to be in the meme team.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't let someone in the meme team if I didn't think they could fit in the meme team. And we call ourselves the meme team, by the way. Yeah, don't cringe too much, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
We started off by having a Kick group chat, that ancient old app for just messaging each other because we didn't all have iPhones.
Well, that started back in like 7th grade.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
I wasn't even a part of that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, saw a lot of penises on that app. A lot of penises on that app. But yeah, and if you guys are just listening, like we didn't all meet in high school.
Most
Some of us, most of us went in high school, but some of us knew
Mhm.
each other since kindergarten, 1st grade. I met Andy 6th grade, and we've known each other for a while. So just something about our group also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what we all came to the conclusion of, if we wanted to make a podcast, we didn't want to make it where it's so structured, because I've noticed with people who have those podcasts, like it's so structured, it gets kind of repetitive or it just gets boring.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, if it's so structured, there's certain things that people won't like. So then, like, why the fuck should I listen to it? Well, in all honesty, like, we're just gonna bullshit a lot. Just have a group of friends talking. It's about like stuff that's going on and shit, like movies that just came out. Like, what did you think of it? What's popular about it? What do you like?
Yeah.
What you hated about it? Stuff like that. A lot of myths, like we were talking about. Like, our generation likes to get shit on a lot because we're known as like the lazy generation, don't work. But there's a lot of myths to that. Like, there's a big theory out there like that our generation is going to be the one who reverses it, because since we weren't taught anything, and when we're going to grow up, we're going to have to learn how to do things on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we decide to have kids, we're going to be teaching our kids everything we know, so they don't have to be put in our shoes.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's a very big theory. Just stuff like that. Honestly, like we're gonna just talk about that.
I think that's another important thing too. Is we don't really have any direction with this.
Mm-hmm.
We're just kind of going into it,
Yeah.
and
But
that's our direction. We're just
the reason we call ourselves the Yellow Light District
different.
and we say almost everything is okay is there are some areas in today's culture where people like to talk about things and there's an audience for that, but we're going to try and stay away from those topics as much as possible here. We don't shy away from many things, and if there's something we feel like we need to talk about, we will, of course, but we're not going to try and tackle those topics right now. We don't know that much.
Yeah, but
that many things.
I think though about this is that as a group we do talk about that kind of stuff, you know, just to ourselves, and you know we do make a lot of good points. But in today's society, if you talk about something, you know, you get to that gray area where you're just like, ooh, you know, you can't say that on social media, you can't say that on public speaking, you know. But in all reality, like that's the whole point of this freedom shit, you know. That's why we're in this country, you know. So I mean, if there's always a topic that could come up, I mean, by all means, you know, I hope you guys don't take offense to it, but shit, it's a free country. I'm gonna say it anyways, sort of thing, you know. Try to be as nice as possible, like best tact I could use, but still, like, just a bunch of stuff like that. You know, we might say things, but like by tomorrow, half of us probably won't even remember what we said. It's just the way we are. Like I can remember things when I was like 6, but I can't remember what I said last week, which is another weird thing, you know, to think about.
Thinking of what you were saying, you can't like talk about your opinions and stuff. I feel like today that's like kind of taboo.
Yeah.
In society, just to talk about your opinions like straightforward. You have to like kind of like beat around the bush and like fluff it up and make it sound a lot better than it actually is.
People get offended really easy.
Yeah, so it's like kind of. It's like a taboo just to be like honest, like brutally honest. You know what I mean? That's not really. That's like frowned upon to be honest, which is weird.
I think one of the cool things, the way we were all like our friend group, the way we were all raised with our parents was, you know, through one ear and out the other, sort of, you know, vibe. Like, okay, yeah, you didn't like what that person said, but don't dwell on it.
Yes, don't hold on to things. That's
like just let it go. And I think that helped all of us out. You know, after we graduated, we kind of all went apart. You know, some of us went to college, some of us just went to work, some of us, you know, just doing nothing. But like whenever we see people and they try to like bust each other's chops and stuff, you know, I think all of us were kind of prepared. Like, you know, oh, whatever. You know, like, okay, you made fun of me for that. Who gives a shit, sort of thing. But like, I do notice there's a lot of people who get really offended really easily, and honestly, like, that's just a waste of time. I mean, we're just young.
To worry about that stuff.
And that's another reason I want to do this podcast is like, you know, why not? You know, who knows?
Yeah.
This might be our shittiest podcast we've ever made, but a year from now, we could have so many people listening to us.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? But like, and if not, it's not like we wasted our time. We're still hanging out with each other.
Yeah,
we're still having conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not like we weren't going to do this anyways if without the podcast.
That's the thing too. That's a big thing.
Yeah, the way I basically want this to work.
We do this. Well, I'm not to interrupt you. But I should just say it real quick.
Fuck you, dude.
All right, that's it. You can get the fuck out. No, but like we do this stuff all the time, so we're kind of figuring we might as well just record it.
Yeah.
This is just like our normal conversations, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just want this to be basically normal conversation with the cameras on, basically.
We're not going to try to make this so scripted. I mean, maybe later on we'll try to, you know, come up with like, you know, topics to talk about more often. But like I said, this is just an intro. You know, like I said just a few minutes ago, I was like, this could be the worst podcast we make out of.
Hopefully,
the
it is
group.
our first podcast. Hopefully,
Yeah, you know what I
I'm
mean?
hoping this is the best one, so just downhill from here.
Yeah, honestly, that could be the thing.
Wow,
They're like, wow, this is a great first podcast. Oh, wait. Next podcast. Oh, that was shit. These guys are nothing.
We get Ted on the podcast. Instant downhill.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Sorry, Ted.
Sorry, Ted.
Let's do a very, 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 very late Avengers Endgame review, or the original Avengers review if you want to do that.
It's like 4 years.
Yeah, that is
It's like
something.
in 6th grade.
You know, that is something wild to think about. Like, just going off by Marvel or Disney. So, like, you know how I just went to Disney just a few months ago in October?
Mm-hmm.
When I went there, it's just, like, the amount of technology there and, like, how much money they make in a day. Like, my buddy has an internship there, you know, for Disney. And she said their slow days are when they have about, like, 50,000, 60,000 people at the park.
At Universal or
At Disney World.
At Disney World.
And I'm just like, holy shit, just like 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
honestly,
that's
that does
like
sound like a slow day for
Yeah.
Disney. You think there's like millions there
Yeah.
constantly.
Well, I think one thing I went to
At least I would.
when I went to
Yeah.
Universal Studios, also like right by Disney, they like had the Harry Potter world. Like when that first launched, it was like pretty much the entire park was relatively spacious. But then you get to Harry Potter world, it's just filled with people. I think that's what they're doing right now with Disney with this whole Star Wars thing.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you
So
that.
they have their own like Star Wars park at Disney.
I don't think it's a park.
Not
of
park,
own.
like
I
it's
think
like
it's a
designated
section.
area?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know about
I mean,
that.
I don't know. I really don't keep up with that, but like, I'm pretty sure that it's a section of a park. They made
It's
an
kinda
entire
cool.
Star Wars
They
park.
had, they had Disney stuff there when I went when I was like 5 or
Yeah,
something.
I think they had a Star Wars ride whenever I went there, but it wasn't like.
They had a little Star Wars like area of the park. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like we were taking pictures with like stormtroopers, and there was like speeders you could sit on and get pictures and stuff.
No, really?
I don't remember like why that was there though, because Disney didn't own them back then, right? 2005
I
ish.
think they always had like something with Star Wars. I think maybe Lucasfilm. They might. I mean, they might just.
They
have
might
their-
have had a big share on.
They might just have their
holding it.
theme park rights. I really don't know. I know.
Yeah,
that's-
maybe
I know.
it was-
Maybe Star Wars sold them the rights to like use some of their things.
I know Universal. I'm pretty sure has the Marvel theme park rights in like a part of the U.S., not even the entire U.S., which is kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it's just when I'm like, but when I was there, like you'd get this bracelet, you know, to like walk around to use like as a fast pass, yeah. And like if you want to take pictures, all you gotta just do is tap it, and you'll end up getting those pictures. I just think it's just so wild to think about. I'm like, because the one ride, it's like the Avatar, one of the Avatar rides.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Lazy River one, the other one that's like like probably their most popular ride they have at Disney. When you were in there, they actually had your name already in there,
That's crazy.
and like they had your so-called what your avatar would look like. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how the hell did they know I'm in here? Because I'm kind of like, you know, paranoid with that kind of stuff. Like I don't like other people knowing where I'm at, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like I guess that's kind of relative because, you know.
Okay, so back to the, I don't know what you guys are talking about honestly. The Star Wars thing. They had a partnership with Lucasfilms in '86, and they had attractions that were called Star Tours, and it was a ride at Disneyland.
Yeah, I remember going on that thing.
So that's what I remember, like vaguely.
See, I don't get it.
But that ended in 2012,
Disneyland. Oh,
I think.
I guess when there was a Star Wars ride at like Disney World, maybe it was just like
It's
Well, there is a
World's
Star
in
Wars
Florida,
ride at
right?
Disney World.
Worlds in Florida. Yeah.
That's where I went.
Yeah, that's Disney World. I want to like the one, like when I went there to the Star Wars part of it, it's like a village, like it looks like Tatooine, you
Yeah.
know, from like the movies, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like you're actually like it looks like you're in a town. Like the structure and the architecture, I think was one of probably my favorite part of Disney. Like for example, like the Star Wars thing, like a life-size Millennial Falcon
Yeah.
was there. Or, like you're just in the town of like somewhere like in the Star Wars like world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like the Avatar thing, like the Hallelujah Mountains, like they actually had floating fucking mountains. When I walked, I was like, how the hell do they do this? Like that is so wild. And then the ride itself is not even a roller coaster. Like that's becoming like obsolete. I've been noticing, especially at Disney. It's all about like 4-dimensional like.
Yeah.
And the ride I was on, like I wore these glasses, and I'm sitting down, and you're riding Banshees, but the thing you're sitting on compresses air, so like it feels like it's breathing
Yeah.
between your legs, and I'm like it's like right next to my crotch too. So like I'm like oh my god, what the hell is this? And I look down, and I see a Banshee breathing. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's like 4-dimensional.
That's sick.
And you're flying around, like your guts dropping, like it feels like you're flying. And then you went past this waterfall, and it sprayed mist at you.
Yeah, that's how Universal.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's what whenever we went there, there's rides like I think it was Spider-Man and the Transformers ride. You basically, so what they do is you kind of like sit in these carts, and they like kind of like there's just this track basically, and there's all these props around this tracks, and then they have several screens that play things in 3D. You have 3D glasses on, and then the car like go around, it'll like lift itself up, do things like that, spray things at you. There's like fire in there, which I don't think that's safe, but they have things like that there. It's pretty cool what they're doing with theme parks now, but I just miss roller coasters basically.
I thought the Spider-Man one was the coolest. How like
Yeah.
they like levitates you, and
Mhm.
it feels like your cart's rising, and then you like shrink, It was like huge, like you're like in a warehouse. There's just huge boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like little like this big. It was, I don't know how they did that stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just crazy, like, what we can do, like, manipulate your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fucking wild. Like,
Yeah.
how I literally thought I was on the planet of Pandora. Like, like at the very end of, like, the ride, you're just sitting by a sunset and you just see a big-ass whale or fish or whatever flopping in and out. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, holy fuck, I want to go to this now. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
damn, I want to go to Pandora. Like, let's fucking do it. Let's find some way to get the money. Let's go find a world and find blue people and try to, you know, copy them or
What do you
something
think
like that.
about space exploration?
The space? Dude, fuck that. Dude, space scares me. I mean, like, it's a cool, like, concept. Like, if we ever had the chance to go off planet somewhere, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool on Earth, you know? I'm like, I'm content being worm food. I don't want to go to another planet. I mean,
Yeah.
unless if it was safe. But, like, now, like, we're still far away from, like, being able to get to a planet within a reasonable amount of time. Like, it would take, like, years to get to, like, a certain, like, planet. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. I don't want to waste, like, 6 years of my life to get to a planet that I might die on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It might
Like,
take centuries.
You know what I
honestly.
think? You know how we look back and we see like pirates and stuff, and just back in like the medieval days, like they didn't even know about other countries in
Yeah.
the world. Like Christopher Columbus like found the Americas and no idea about it, and we kind of like laugh at that now because to us that's just like common sense. I feel like we're in that age where like with space exploration, where like right now we don't even know there's stuff out there, but in like 200 years, everyone's gonna know that like there's this planet not too far away, and like it's gonna be like the new America type thing.
It's gonna be weird. People look at us like Neanderthals.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, wait, these people didn't even know there was like a planet that close.
well,
that
that's what's
has
scary to
life and
think
stuff.
about. Like, I think all three of us were born in 2000, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
You know, we always have this talk, Andy, about how insignificant that is. It sounds so shitty to say, but, like, you know, throughout the whole span of time, like, the 1900s, when you think of people that were born in 1901, 1902, you know, they grew up through the World War II, you think that's, like, forever ago. Like, you know, how different they are from then to
it
now.
was only 100 years.
That was only 100 years.
Yeah.
Imagine another 100 years of what technology they're going to create. Like, that's why, like, I can see us being able to do this space exploration, but, like, we're going to be, you know, probably fucking old, but it's scary to think about, like, what technology can, like, how much can we even further our, like, civilization?
Yeah.
Like, you don't think it's possible.
You think we're already at the top?
Yeah, like, you think we're, like, the, you know, so advanced, but meanwhile, there could be, even that's, like, another planet, like, another species. What if they were alive an extra 3,000, 4,000 years? Imagine how much more advanced they are than us.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and it's just wild to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how, like, those big theories about, like, how the universe expands? So, like, you know, we're at one point of time where space was just, you know, that where our planet became a thing. What about before our planet? Where that planet was older already? Or that, like, solar system was there before ours?
Yeah.
So, like, we could be this could be, like, the same exact thing. Like, it's not too far to think about. Like, it's not too hard to think about, I should say. To think, like, the same exact thing happened to another planet the way it happens to us. So, we, like, could have, like, doppelgangers and we would not even know it.
Space is such a mind fuck, dude.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It fucking blows my
It's-
mind. And that's what's scary about it.
It's such a mind fuck. Like when we had a teacher explain to us in sophomore year about basically when you look at the sun, you're really looking like what 8 minutes in the past.
Because the light that's
Yeah.
reaching you is 8 minutes ago. So the sun could blow up now. We wouldn't know until 8 minutes from now that it like
It's
or
fucking
shut
wild.
off or whatever.
It's just fucking wild
Yeah.
to think of. But
Well, that's another thing to think about is, like,
They
you know,
could-
obliviation. Like, this sun is gonna, like, whether this, you know, whole thing about, you know, we're killing our planet and so forth, that's okay, you know, I get that, but, like, you do realize our planet is gonna die eventually. Like, it's not gonna last forever. Like,
Right.
you can't stop a supernova from happening, our sun exploding on
Yeah.
itself. Like, and plus, we're pretty fucking close to the sun anyways. We're not like Pluto where, oh, we might have a chance. No, dude, you're fucking dead.
I mean,
Like,
if the sun doesn't, even if the sun just like imploded and nothing happened, we'd still be fucked.
we would have
We-
no sun.
We literally need the sun to survive.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's fascinating, like you said, with the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at planets that are thousands of light years away, and we're
Mhm.
seeing them, there's no life on them with like telescopes or whatever. We could be. That's like someone viewing us from 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
gonna know their civilization in here because, well, I mean, like 3,000 years ago, like it was a lot different, you know.
The only way would be, and that's
So
like
we
another
could
thing.
view a
Yeah,
planet, and the light that's reaching us from that planet could be before like there was life forms even evolved to the point.
yeah. I mean, like again, like could there be life forms? Yeah, but like, you know, you think we would know by now because like, I mean, it could be that, like I said, like we could be looking exactly the same. Like that same exact, that same exact thing could have already happened. Like the way the planet's on its axis, the way, you know, the gravity works, the way like, you know, the sun, how close it is, what kind of sun it is. Like evolution could have already happened on that planet the same exact way it could be for us. So I mean, like our universe is that fucking big where that's, you know, it's not so far like hard to think about. Like that's not something like that's not, you know, you could possibly fathom like, hey, that's possible, you know. That's what's so fucking about it. You know what I mean? Like anything is possible. Like because we don't even know, so we can't even disprove it. You know, we can't prove it, but we can't disprove it. So like, shit. You know, like
I feel like there's a high chance though.
Yeah,
It's so big that we happen. There has to be something other scenario out there that happened the same way, where there's
Yeah.
some life form, even if it's like microscopical organisms or something. I don't know.
I think it's more terrifying if there is no other life in the
Yeah,
galaxy.
we're the only thing.
That's just
I just feel that's highly unlikely.
There's no way we're the only life.
no, because if there's other planets that have water that has,
But they might actually
evolution's
need
gonna
water.
happen. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta also think at the same point. Also, it's just like, what are the odds though that life is made on this planet? It was like 1,000,000 to 1, right? More than that,
Probably a
Yeah.
lot higher.
I mean, the chances of this planet being able to support life is pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, if we were like an inch closer to the sun, wouldn't work.
Yeah.
We'd be like
Yeah,
we'd be melted. If we
It
were
was-
an inch further away from the sun, we'd be frozen.
yeah. It's like called fine tuning. You know, where you know we have so many fine details that make this planet being able to support life. Like, so I think when you're saying like an inch, I think it was like 5% closer to the sun, it would be too hot. If we were 5% farther away from the sun, it'd be too cold. And like the way our axis is tilt, like that's like the best way to do it. You know, like that's the only way it supports life. The way the ozone layer is like formed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so global warming though, guys, you know that's fucking.
I hate talking about global warming.
I know, but like it's goofy to talk about. Did you guys see that video I tried to send you guys? It was from the TV show Shameless.
Nah.
I think
So-
it was, like, we was talking about, it was like, I'm not sure, it's about like AC, right?
Yeah, it's like the what's it called? Frank, he's a big degenerate. He's a drunk and all that on the TV show. Well, you know the power went out because it got so hot that Frank was like around a group of other drunks, and he always likes to make these weird like theories. And he's like, and he says, it's global warming, right? We've done this to ourselves, and there's nothing we can do about it. But they expect me to still turn off my AC. If I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna die comfortably. And I'm like I fucking love that.
Yeah.
I just think it's goofy.
Oh.
So that's a good point.
Uh,
I saw someone got shamed recently on the internet because there was a celebrity, I think it was actually Chris Pratt, because he was using a plastic bottle in a commercial.
who cares?
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Like, if I'm a celebrity, there's so much shit that celebrities can get in trouble for. Like, I'm not saying their life's hard, but like they gotta watch out what the fuck they say. But at the same time, though, if I'm making that much money, and he's making money because Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World,
Yeah, he's a Lego movie also.
Lego movie.
He's in a lot of big projects.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're making that much money, and people are gonna want to hire you. You're not like so. I wouldn't really give a fuck. Like, obviously, you don't want to be like racist or anything, like stupid shit. But like,
imagine that though, your entire career goes down the drain
Because of a
you used
water bottle.
plastic
Plastic
water
water
bottle. I think the craziest thing is just, to me, it doesn't seem that far fetched.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Yeah, like with us now, it seems like people get pissed off at the littlest things and get really pissed off about it. And I can see someone like just losing their career because of it.
I think society's in a cycle of where
yeah, I mean, like that's a huge
where
theory. It's
people
just a cycle.
people get real sensitive, and then probably like when we have kids,
Pendulum.
everyone's gonna get real strong again. No one's gonna like take any shit from anyone.
What do you think about spanking kids?
Why the fuck would you?
Discipline?
Yeah, I got spanked, and I didn't think, oh man, I'm being abused right now. It's like
I feel weird saying spanked, but you know what?
I got paddled as a kid.
I wouldn't get paddled.
I got
I
paddled.
got like belted.
My dad broke a paddle on me.
Jesus Christ.
I used to get the wooden spoon.
Maybe that's why you got the wagon, dude.
Nah, see, like, I just...
Roll the cake up.
The way I was raised, it was like, you know, my dad and I would argue a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, like, my dad and I would give each other shit.
I deserved to get paddled, by the way.
Yeah,
I was an asshole.
I think I deserved it most of the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't.
I think my parents were just like saying, "Be fucking better," and like taking their anger out my ass.
Like, you didn't make your bed, like.
Okay, that kind of came out. That kind of came out weird. So they took their anger out my ass. So.
Oh god. Gabby, you want to talk about something? No. But like, yeah, my dad, like, we'd go out, we'd yell at each other. I mean, he'd get like, you know, he'd put me against a wall or or something like that if I'm like getting just too much of a dick. But like my mom, dude, whenever she would say my first name and my middle name, or if she dropped the F-bomb, I literally was fucking terrified.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where like she wouldn't beat me. It's just like I'm so scared to like piss my mom off because like my mom like helps me out with so much shit, like with finances if she needs to, like, or like, you know, help me remember like birthdays and all that, like our family's birthday, like, because I'm terrible with birthdays. I don't know anybody's fucking birthday. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, I know my own, but I don't know anybody else's. So she always reminds me, hey, make sure you remind this person happy birthday, or hey, make sure you get something for your sister, or hey, make sure you tell your dad happy Father's Day, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but like, so like, I was always scared to piss her off because, you know, so we were talking about this earlier. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. How you can cut someone out from their life, your life so easily.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's just me and you personally, but like I think it's really easy in today's day and age where everything. It's not. It probably was easier back then, but it's like in today's day and age, like it's just so easy to cut someone off because pretty much the way everyone talks is through their phone, it's through social media, and it's so easy just to say I'm gonna block this person and never speak to them again.
I was reading this book and it was talking about technology, and it's in today's world, everyone kind of controls how they communicate and when. So I can text you. If I don't want to talk to you, I can text you. You get the text now. You can text me back whenever you want, based on your terms. Mm-hmm. It's not like a physical conversation where we just meet up and have it like directly like going in the moment. It's everyone's like because of the phone, it's at your fingertips. And you can just control, like, if you want to call somebody, I see you calling me, I could be like, I don't feel like talking right now. I'll talk to them tomorrow. I could listen to your voicemail later, call you back tomorrow.
I mean, like, technology.
Like, you're in too much control. I think it's too much control of conversation and communication.
I think it's wild because the way we were brought up, like, so a lot of people like to say, you know, a lot of, like, things I see on social media, people born in the 2000s is the last, like, generation or the last group of, like, kids to be brought up a certain way for a while.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that, like, when we play, like, Xbox and shit, you know, when we played Xbox and when we were 13 and 14, we were talking with each other all night, all day, bullshit. Like, I know with my friends from back home, like, that's what I did. But, like, you still had that sense of communication. Mm-hmm. And also, you'd still want to hang out with them after. Like, yeah, playing video games when you're at home stuck in your house because you don't have a car at that age, you know? Or if your parents are working, yeah, you're talking to your friends still. You know?
We had it as, like, an alternative where I feel like people nowadays...
That's that's the only way of communicating or, like, wanting to hang out.
I'd like, rather do that than hang out.
How often you go to the malls or you go around and you see a park, like, how often do you see, like... You see maybe a handful of kids playing basketball. Like, how many kids do you just see not, like, venturing? Like, dude, I love going on adventures. Like, who the fuck, like, let's go through the woods. Let's go walk for 3 hours and get lost and, like, try to find our way back. You know, like, you know,
I think that's
shit like
cool
that.
with our generation, too, because I feel like that's what I was saying earlier. How, like, we were talking about Gen Z. Was that last night we were talking about it?
I think so.
Gen Z and millennials. Like, we're right in the middle. It's like my brother, he's 25, and he didn't grow up with, like, any, like, cell phones and stuff. And, like, even when we didn't. When we were little, I had a flip phone back in, like, 3rd grade that was literally just for calling and, like, texting.
Yeah.
But then, like, we were before cell phones, because I remember using a home phone. We were before, like, gaming, too, like, online gaming. Because I remember, like, I go on Club Penguin, use my, like, home phone on speaker, and play, like, with my buddies on, like, you know, like, website games and shit.
Just imagine, though, what it's like to be brought up, like...
With iPhones.
There's kids,
as like, a 3-year-old.
Yeah, when I got my phone fixed at the mall, there was, like, literal, like, I'd say, like, 5 or 6 year olds with iPads. And they were holding, like, this and, like, doing stuff, like...
Yeah, I mean, like, when I was growing up, I had the same thing. So, like, my parents gave me those slide-up phones. And I only had it because I don't live in a great neighborhood.
I had one of those.
And
too.
so, like, I didn't live in a great neighborhood. So whenever I would get dropped off the bus, I had to walk home with my sister. Well, my parents gave it to us just in case it was just we were by ourselves and we had to walk home, or and we would just text them every single day. Hey, I'm home. That's it. And like, what else did I use it for? I wasn't fucking texting 13-year-old girls when I was like, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about girls back then. I was like, oh, dude, let's go hang out. Let's go play Xbox. Let's go do this, or like, let's go like play soccer. Let's go swim or something like that. Like, shit like that. Like, I wasn't too worried about texting anybody. And if I wanted to talk to someone, I would call them.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate people who want to just only text.
Yeah.
Hot take right now. I think texting is so annoying. I'd rather just call the person and just say, hey, can we do this? Because it's so hard to get your point across or ask them a question or get the answer right away. Like how you said, like that person might not even want to text back.
Yeah, and back to that book too, they were saying there's a lot of miscommunication with text.
Yeah.
Because communication is like 70% nonverbal, body language, eyes, like how you're positioned. Like, it's really weird. And you just subconsciously read that. So it's like 70% nonverbal. It is like 15% of the tonality. Mm-hmm. So if you're just talking real like monotone or like even sarcastic, like that's a huge communication skill. And then only like 10% of it, or whatever's left, is like the words being spoken.
I'm a terrible texter.
So when you text, you could say something, and I could say like, "Why didn't you go to the mall last night?" Like, or I could mean it like, "Why didn't you go to the mall last night?" You could take it as like, "Why didn't you go to the mall last night?"
Yeah.
Like it could be
I'd be like, "What the fuck? You quit
miscommunicated.
coming out my neck or something?" Like,
Yeah, so Cohen's not responding. Like, he's been in a car accident. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So I was in a car accident. For the people who don't know, I was in a car accident. 2 years ago or a year ago, whatever. 2 years ago. I was over at my buddy's house, and I didn't want to stay the night, and so I was like, I'm gonna go home because I knew if I just stayed over, I wasn't gonna get any sleep. I was gonna feel like shit, and I was going on senior trip the next day, and with like the guys from high school, and it was gonna be about a 10-hour drive, so like I was gonna help out driving and all that. So I left, and on my way back, I was only 2 minutes away from my friend's house when I left. I got into a car accident. I rolled my car 4 times, and the police and firemen found me outside my car and all that. Well, my buddies who were at over back at their house, they heard about it, and they said so they started texting my friends, but they just said, Andy's been in a car accident. No bamboozling. He's not responsive. Like, he's not responding, which makes it sound like I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like, when they meant that, I was like, I just really wasn't in it. Like, I was out of it. So, like, it's just pretty goofy, like, how, like, a text message, like, he's not responding. Well, what do you mean? And he doesn't answer back, and you're going to think your friend's dead or something? Like, like, what?
Exactly, yeah. It can be a lot of miscommunication. What was our main point with that?
Just... Technology is fucking bullshit. That's what I'm gonna say.
We were talking about texting over calling.
Yeah.
And people like texting also. This is like what that book said. People like texting because you can think of stuff instead of when you're on the phone and you're talking, like whether it's a business call or to a friend, you have to like talk on the spot, right?
Yeah.
But people like texting because you can think about what you're going to say next and like strategically plan it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you could text me. I could sit there for like 2 minutes and think of what I want to say. Or
yeah.
You email me, I can email you like an hour later to think about.
Yeah.
Like, if you call me and say the same thing, I don't have an hour, 10 minutes to even think about it. 30 seconds. You gotta like say it.
That, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta come up with it like that.
No, dude, yeah.
Which messes with people's social skills too.
Oh, dude,
like,
I already know. I have so many.
They're so used to like having time to respond and like, what should I say and how do I respond to this?
Oh, and like, I think this generation too, or like these younger kids, like who are growing up since they were 5 or 6. They won't even fucking respond to you anymore.
Yeah, no one talks.
Yeah, I'm like or like a text or anything. Like I have close friends and relatives or whatever where I try to text them or call them, they just don't fucking answer. I'm like, geez, they must really fucking hate me. No, it's just like they just don't feel the need to text or talk, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. But like, all I know is when I'm older and I have kids, my kids will not get a fucking iPhone or a smartphone until they're in high school. Where they're actually going to want to text, make plans, shit like that, not...
I'm sure by the time we have kids, they're going to have some weird-ass technology.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to let them have that. They're going to be playing outside.
They don't even have phones, don't worry.
They're going to be playing outside with action figures like I did for, like, 10 years.
You remember the line in Back to the Future 2?
No.
Where he goes into like the not the bar, but it was like kind of like the cafe, and then like there's like that cowboy arcade game, and then like he's like, oh, I used to be really good at this game. Pulls out the gun and starts shooting all the cowboys in it, and then the kids say, oh, you mean you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy. And it's like, I thought that was kind of a weird line when I was like younger, but it's like the older I get, the more and more I see that becoming like more of like a thing in today's like world.
Yeah.
It's mostly video games or like phones on like phone games. Stuff
It's all
like that.
digital.
Yeah, it's not really like.
If you think about it,
There's a big pussification happening in today's
yeah,
society.
there is. But it's just weird to think how much of daily life and everything that's in existence, like in like the world right now, is all digital.
Yeah.
Like there's so much on the computer that is not physical anymore. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's like games, there's communication, and it's all just on this like screen, you know?
I feel like we put way too much faith in technology.
Yeah,
It's like, because if one day just something happens, there's a blackout. or
just
something.
wipes out.
I think for the most important things, we obviously have like hard copies of most things, but it's just a lot of people's lives are on electronics right now, so it's really terrifying to think of what happens if it just fails us.
And even money now is just, it's all digital numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, are they
When you
gonna
transfer from your bank to like Amazon, it's all, you don't even see the money anymore, it's all just digital.
Just
there's no physical.
Zeros and ones.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, is there ever gonna be a time where we just get rid of paper money? But I don't think
That's what my grandpa thinks. He thinks by the time we're adults, there's gonna be no physical currency. It's gonna be like all Bitcoin type
I
stuff.
don't think you can though.
I think they could do it. It's just like a credit card.
Like
a
I
debit
said,
card.
it's like what if it fails? What if they have like a server problem or something like that, and they can't transfer?
I'm putting all my money under my mattress. That's a boomer sentence right there.
It's just something to think about. I don't really know how that would work. I think it sounds like a good idea until you start thinking about it really, and I don't think it could work out realistically.
You know what another thing technology's ruining right now?
What's that?
Jokes, memes, like shit like that, goofy shit. Because you see it so much now that you're just like, after a week, like, it's just not funny anymore.
Are you talking about the OK Boomer meme?
Like, that's what I made me think of it. I was
Yeah.
like, the last time I saw someone that actually laughed at it when they said OK Boomer, and it was just like, maybe a month ago, maybe. And it was about these two dudes in the UFC, like the GOAT, basically. Like, he's known as the GOAT, John Jones. Like, insane, youngest ever to win a title in the heavyweight division. And he was just, like, he's just insane. Well, there's this new and up-and-coming star, and his name's Israel Adesanya, and he goes, he's a big troll, he likes doing memes, he likes making jokes, he loves anime. Well, he's getting a lot of, attention, so John Jones started, coming at his neck about it, what are you going to do, fight me about it or whatever. And then John Jones said this really long thing about, because Israel Adesanya was just blowing it off. And John Jones said this big paragraph, about how, he's the best, he has all his title defenses, da-da-da-da-da. And then Israel Adesanya's response was, okay, boomer. And, like, literally everybody, like, it was, like, the funniest thing when I read that, because I was like, the funny thing is, they're only 2 years apart. Mm-hmm. So, like, the fact that he just said that to him.
That's what pisses me off all this time. Like, I'll say something in the comments, and then someone like gets a little like butthurt, and they'll say like "Okay, boomer" in like Instagram comments. It's like, dude, you look like you're fucking older than me. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Well, once you're over the age of 18, I feel like, or it's kind of like you're an adult now, and some people are just gonna look older than you, but they're gonna end up being younger than you. Like, fuck, dude. Right now, like, I'm having that issue with all these different people. They're like, oh, I thought you were 22. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't fucking 22. Like, I'll be depressed if I'm like already 22, like, sort of thing. Like, and they're like, oh, you're too young for me. Bitch, I'm like 1 year younger than you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
It's just worse than going to the malls and seeing these girls that look like they're like your age, and you find out they're like 15.
14 and stuff. Yeah,
Like,
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And walk out.
Then you hear.
It's actually terrifying.
Yeah,
There's girls that are like in grade school or early high school that look like they're in college.
Yeah.
It's
I
just a
mean,
really scary
Gotta
thing
be
to think
careful.
about.
Gotta
Yeah,
be careful.
it's kind of weird.
Which is not the same with like guys. I mean, there's like a few cases here and there,
Yeah.
but girls can do it much easier. I feel like the way they dress.
Yeah, and I think makeup always helps.
Yeah, makeup, yeah, definitely.
So, trying to lead the topic somewhere else. There's something I was reading the other day, and I thought it was pretty fucking wild. This person was sent to life in prison, all right, and on his medical report he has "do not resuscitate" if any, you have that when you're younger, you can fill that out. So he had that before he went to prison. Like if he ever something happened, just do not resuscitate. And what happened was he had a heart attack in prison, and his heart stopped. Like he died. Well, they shocked him back to life. So he's trying to sue to get out of prison because technically he served his life sentence because he was dead.
So his heart-
And he had a do not resuscitate. So they already broke that.
So what do you do about that?
I think he has a very real.
That's like a pretty real argument.
What? So is the terms for life in prison means as soon as the heart stops beating,
I think that's.
Well, I mean, if your heart stops beating, you're dead.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
like,
mean?
is that like? Again, like,
I don't think
are we
that-
just taking
I
are we
don't
taking the
think
term
that
life
qualifies.
sentence too literally? But like,
No.
I mean, but like, if you do want to take it literally, I mean, like, there's a few different things.
I'm sure there's legal terms for that. I'm
I mean,
sure it's all figured out.
he's
Well-
good. And I don't think the life sentence. I'm not a lawyer.
Because I feel like that would be a very easy, like, loophole. People would
Yeah.
like try to stop their hearts just to like get out of prison. You know what I mean?
you never know.
People like hold their breath, pass out, and like try to have their heart rate drop. And
Just don't resuscitate him then.
Yeah, but I think that's a bit different, though. If they try to kill themselves, that's one thing to bring them back to life because they're trying to get out of that life sentence. But if you just
I
drop
don't
down and have a heart attack,
I think he has more of a case with don't resuscitate.
because he had something like filled up. Before.
Yeah, but like, again, it's like if it was in writing that once your heart stops beating, your life sentence is served, then he has a case. But I think maybe we're taking the term life sentence a little
Yeah, I feel like it's not
too
like that.
literally.
yeah, I mean, it's still a good case, though. I mean, like, it's
It's
still something
interesting.
interesting. I mean, like, he did technically, if you want to go literally, like, he did technically die, in prison. And it wasn't because he tried to cause it. He just had a heart attack.
Yeah,
So, like, he technically served his life
but
sentence.
he's still alive.
Yeah,
Still being
Yeah, I
his
mean, but like
life.
he
That's what I'm
died.
saying.
I get. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a good case.
because if you have a life sentence and you're only in there for like 3 months, you have a heart attack, and they like revive you, and you're like 20, you just get out, live the rest of your life. That doesn't make any sense. That's
What
too
was
easy.
he in
How
jail
about-
for, anyways?
I don't even know. It was like some like major assault or like a few assault crimes or like in a murder charge or something like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
How about that Tekashi 6ix9ine dude getting out of fucking prison early? Like,
I mean, he's still got like 2
2
years.
years,
I mean, I think he has a
no,
year
he's getting
left.
out next July. I'm pretty sure.
I think he has a year left because I think they said he has to serve 24 months and he's already served 13 of those
Yeah.
months. But I think the thing is, like,
I think it's because that's like, see, that's what happened. That's what's so flawed about that thing.
I
Like,
can't believe no one's like done anything to him in like jail yet.
Yeah, they probably have him on like what's
Yeah,
that? They
that's probably true.
well, that gang he was in, it
Isolation.
doesn't sound that big of a gang. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have no idea what that gang is. I mean, they're called something, the Treyways or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know much about it.
But,
Isn't
like-
he blood though?
Yeah, like apparently that's Bloods. Like I don't know how that.
Is it
how
just
that
like
shit
a-
works. Fuck, dude, I
Like
don't know.
a chapter.
I don't even want to know, but
Yeah,
like,
let's not talk about that.
yeah, like I don't even fucking want to know.
Yellow light.
Yeah, yellow light.
That should be a thing. Just say yellow light whenever
Yeah,
we
yellow
get
light.
somewhere.
Like, if we're gonna get into like a bad rant, it should be like yellow light. You guys heard it here. That's our new thing. No. I don't know, man. Join me, bruv.
We're at 48 minutes or 49 minutes. So
Dude, fuck, dude.
go for 10 more. Or?
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
maybe just say our goodbyes. Let's just keep it small for the first episode.
Yeah.
First of hopefully many,
Many.
possibly thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. Never know. We'll get there eventually. Hopefully.
Alrighty, guys. Well, like I said, hopefully, we keep making more, stay on top of this, and hopefully when we start spreading this out, you guys will want to listen. This is the Yellow Light District, where almost everything is okay.
Yeah. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas, topics,
Or something that you
criticism, anything.
yeah, or something you would want us to talk about, like, be like, or ask us any questions, how we did this, or what do you think about that? By all means, let's fucking do it. I'll talk about that shit.
Absolutely.
As long as there's no, stupid shit, then
Yeah.
I won't say it, but hey, it's up to you.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what you've done.
Alrighty.
Hey.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
Deuces.